Hey buddy, Crow back again, and I'm finally going to be talking about the Gremlin Collection 1 for the Evercade. Only 6 games in this collection, but yet it took me forever to get to them. I guess I just kept getting delayed over and over again, but better late than never, I suppose. Now, just like with every other Evercade release, you're going to get the clamshell case, you get the full color manual, you get the cartridge, but nothing else. There's nothing bonus-wise in this collection. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about each one of the games. I'm going to go through them in chronological order from when they were released. I kind of been wanting to do that for a while now, but we're going to start doing that here. And after I talk about each one of the games, I'm going to rank them all. And then I'm going to rank them all against all the other games I've already ranked for the Evercade. And then we'll rank the collection itself. So, let's jump to it. First up is Brainbender, originally released in 1991 for the Nintendo Game Boy. It's an interesting puzzle game that has you rotating objects and mirrors to redirect a laser beam to complete tasks before the laser power runs out. I had a good time with this one until the later levels, when the slowness of the game's ability to redraw the laser really impacts your timing to successfully complete its levels. And then at that point, the game becomes incredibly frustrating. I got stuck on one of the later levels, and it wasn't because I didn't know what to do, I just couldn't do it due to the game's erratic laser draw delays. So in the end, I can't say that I like this game, but I don't think it's a bad game either. Next is Zool, Ninja of the Nth Dimension. This was originally an Amiga platformer that was released in 1992 and then was ported to many platforms afterwards. In this collection is the Sega Genesis version of the game from 1993 and is the highlight of this collection, with Zool himself featured on the front of the case. I know there are plenty of people that really like this game, but I really can't get into it. This is one of those games where you have an arbitrary number of items you have to collect before you can exit a level, and if you reach the goal without collecting the amount required, well then you've got to turn around and search some more, which I kind of find annoying. Aside from that, Zool moves way too fast, and I feel the controls aren't really that precise. As a result, it just feels like Zool zips all over the place, and I've got minimal control over it. And because of this breakneck speed, it's very impossible to spot platforms, enemies, or projectiles. The levels are very colorful, but that actually helps the enemies and projectiles camouflage in with the background, making them harder to see. Trying to move Zool slowly is easier said than done, as he just wants to take off at a moment's notice. However, I will say that the game does seem a bit cool when Zool is moving quickly, collecting items without missing, and slicing enemies in midair without slowing down. Next we have Utopia, Creation of a Nation, which was originally released on multiple platforms, but the version in this collection is the Super Nintendo port from 1993. This is a game that's a lot like SimCity, but with more of an outer space colonization theme. Your goal is to run these colonies throughout 10 planets and turn them into thriving cities. However, there's always the threat of an alien attack, and that's where this differs from SimCity, as you've got to build your military to defend your colonies. It's an interesting premise, and the game wasn't as difficult to understand as I thought it would be, as the game does provide ample information to let you know what to do. I mean, you could even meet with your council and they'll tell you exactly what you need to focus on, and that takes a lot of the guesswork out of the game. The thing is, though, is I didn't really find this game that interesting. Maybe I like SimCity more because it was grounded in reality, but there's something about this game that feels like something's missing. Like maybe it's because there's no roads, or maybe because you don't see little people or ships flying around doing their day-to-day business, or maybe I just didn't play enough to appreciate this. But I don't think it's a bad game. Actua Soccer is our next game, and it was released for the PlayStation in 1996. In North America, this game was known as VR Soccer 96, and this is, yet again, another soccer game on the Evercade. Soccer games in general are a hard sell for me because it's one of those sports that holds the least amount of interest for me. But I did play this for a while and ultimately came to the conclusion that I didn't like it. The sole problem with this game is the camera. It's an early polygonal sports game, so they wanted to show off a bit, I guess, and give you a whole load of camera angles you can cycle through. The problem is that none of them are good in all situations, so eventually you'll find yourself trying to figure out a better camera angle rather than playing the actual game. Oh boy, I really wasn't looking forward to this one. This is Premier Manager 97, and it was released in 1996 only for the Sega Mega Drive and only in Europe. This is part of a long-running series, and I believe this is the last version that ever appeared on the Mega Drive. But here we have another soccer game, but not one where you actually play soccer. Nope, this is actually a soccer management simulator, and I'm definitely not the right person for this game. All I really know about soccer is that you kick the ball into the opponent's goal, and that's about it. For most soccer games, that's actually enough motivation for me to get in there and give it a try. This, however, is just numbers. Buying and trading players, working on stadium improvements, getting advertisers, and there's a bit of coaching in there as well. This game definitely doesn't hold my interest. I think I actually fell asleep during one of the simulated soccer games. Just watching the ball marker go back and forth on the field map and seeing the same repeated DMD animations pop up again and again and again and again. This is not for me. Our sixth and final game here is Hardcore 4x4, originally released for the PlayStation near the end of 1996. This game was known as TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4 in North America, and strangely, it's the North American box art that Blaze used for this in the menus, as you can still see the TNN Motorsports portion in the name there. But this is definitely the European version of the game that's used. As far as early 3D racing games go, this isn't bad. The controls may take a bit of time to get used to, but they're nothing I would complain about. What I would complain about, though, is that it sometimes can be hard to tell where you actually need to go in the game at times. The wall textures and the ground textures can be so similar that I found myself driving right into walls thinking that's where the road was going. And that's if you could even see the turns at all, because sometimes it's not apparent where you need to go until you've already missed your turn and you're crashing into something. On the plus side though, there is a hidden game in here called Roids. Alright, so let's rank these games. We'll go in order from my least favorite to, the game I like the most on the cartridge. So obviously my least favorite game here was Premier Manager 97. I'm going to put this in D. I'm not going to give it an F because I'm pretty sure the game is good at what it does. It's just that for me, it's a D because I'm totally not interested in this whatsoever. Next up, we have Actua Soccer, and I'm also going to put this on the D level. The game was almost fun, but the camera angles just, really messed up the game for me, and I just wind up not really having fun with this, but I would rather play this than Premier Manager. Next up, in spot number 4, we're going to put Utopia, and I'm going to put this on level C here, give it a rank of C. It's nothing that I really want to go into playing, and I played it for a while. It just seems like it would be just too long and dragged out of a game for me. Next up, I've got Brainbender. I'm also going to put this on rank C above Utopia. Again, I was having a good time with this game, but just the slow redraw rate of that laser makes the game very erratic to play, and it just, keeps pausing, and that makes the later levels in the game just really frustrating, and I just didn't want to play it again. In spot 2, I've got Hardcore 4x4. I'm going to rank this a B. Just barely a B. I almost put this on C because I don't want to say that I like the game, but I guess I did have a little bit of fun while I was playing it at times, but also Roids really does bump it up a little bit, so I guess I'm putting it on B because of the game Roids. And then finally, Zool, obviously my number 1 choice on this cartridge. I think it would be for a lot of people. But I'm also going to put this on rank B just because I don't think it's that great of a game. There's a lot of issues with it, I think. It could be frustrating at times. It's just, it could be tough and not for the right reasons, I feel. Alright, so let's rank these Gremlin games across all the other games I've already ranked. So we'll start again with Premier Manager, which I ranked a D. Where do we want to put this? Honestly, I'm thinking of just putting this dead last because I think I'd rather play any of these games other than Premier Manager 97. But I just can't say that it's an absolute disaster of the game and put it in rank F. So it's just got to be put in the last spot in D for me. And then Actua Soccer, I almost ranked that as C. I almost want to like the game, so I think I'm going to put it up higher here. I'm actually going to put this right below Weapon Lord. And then we've got Utopia, the creation of a nation, and we're going to find a place on C for this. Again, bit of a slow game. I think above Creepy Brawlers. I think I've got to put it here. It's pretty low on the list here. It's just too slow and uninteresting for me. It was one of those games I was kind of falling asleep to. And then we've got Brainbender. And this is also on rank C, and I think I had already ranked this previously in a previous video, but we're going to put this here. I'm going to put this right below Ploid, right above Boomerang Kid. That's where I had it. And then we've got Hardcore 4x4. I ranked this a B, but I think I just ranked it barely a B, so it's going to be lower on the list. Well, actually, really low on the list now that I'm looking at it, because I think I'd rather play Kubo, to be honest. So, yeah, it's going to be dead last on our B list here. And then we've got Zool. I'm also ranking this on a B, and even though I kind of want to give it a C, but let's see here, it's better than some of these other games. I say better than the Dizzy games. You know what? I am changing my mind. I think I'd rather play the Dizzy games, to be honest. But Snafu? No, you know what? It's going under Snafu. Wow, some people might be yelling at me saying that Zool is a great game, Zool is a great game. It may be a great game to you, but for me, it's just all over the place. And so there we go. We've ranked the Gremlin games and put them in the complete game list. All right, so now it's time to rank the collection as a whole. Where am I going to put this? Well, I have to put it on rank F, but the question is, better or worse than Bitmap Brothers? And I think I've got to go, nope, not there, like that. Perfect. No, actually, no, it was like this. I keep forgetting that I changed the way the orders is. This is better than this. So I'd rather play Bitmap Brothers rather than Gremlin. The highest ranked game I can give Gremlin is B. And I know the Bitmap Brothers has the Chaos Engine, which is a great game. So that alone puts Bitmap Brothers ahead of Gremlin and puts Gremlin dead last. And to be honest, ever since this collection was announced, I saw the games that were going to be on it, I had this feeling that Gremlin Collection would be dead last on my list. And I gave all the games an honest try, and I ranked them all how I felt, and I just really have no choice other than put it dead last. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to start moving on to the games in the Morph Cat collection. It says there's 3 games, but there's kind of 5 in a way. You'll see what I mean when we talk about this one. See you next time. Bye.